Welcome, lords and ladies of the multi-realm, to the DBD Corner, where the entity has granted us permission to go over the footage from its multi-realms. Since this is the first episode of the DBD Corner, I'd be honored if you'd wait a moment while I explain the concept of the DBD Corner. Thank you. The idea for the DBD Corner is to go over footage and see what we can learn from it, such as strategies and tactics, what mistakes were made by both the killers and survivors, what did the killers and or survivors do correct, and my thoughts on the match, and of course, if you want to add yours in the comments, that would be great. And who knows, maybe your noble ideas will appear in a later video, so all may be granted the great advices you possess. Why would you want to watch a video like this? I got the idea in my head from competitive sports, how coaches would take their team and have them watch their games over and over, doing something similar. And by doing this, the team got better by being able to notice when they are in similar games, and how better to deal with the similar problems that come up in the game. So I thought I'd make these type of videos so we can use them, not just for entertainment, but to get better at DBD, and be the best killers and survivors we can in the game. Now, with no further ado, the long-awaited match. First thing I did as the Skull Merchant is put up my drones in an area to control and get read on in that area before looking for the survivors. For this killer, I found doing this was a good tactic early on and against lower MMR players. Later I found out it actually better to deploy drones in areas that you first find survivors because they tend to want to go back to the areas more, mainly because they started a gen and don't want the progress and time spent on it to be for nothing. My first engagement was with Claudette, which goes pretty normal. Not too much goes badly for both sides, but Claudette does two mistakes. One runs into me for some reason. I think she thought she could go through me and get a vault on the rocks. I was blocking. This gave me my first hit. The second thing she did, but not sure if she knew, but she led me to two others of the survivors by going in the same direction they had initially fled as I had approached. This, of course, was good for me, and I knew we were getting closer to the other survivors. Getting from my initial drone setup, I would have followed Claudette away from the others if she had decided to go in another direction. But she did not, and that allowed me to get general knowledge and direction of two other survivors, and knowing they were not on the gen's benefits. After hooking Claudette, I noticed Leon had been around my drones long enough for my radar to pick him up, allowing me to pin down his location and there as I was on the way. The way to Leon, I saw Nia running away from a gen, which was great because it gave unintended pressure and gave me knowledge that she was not on a gen. Just some advice I gathered from playing Survivor is keep crouched and, if possible, adjust yourself around the gen so the gen is between you and the killers. It makes you less noticeable than running away from the gen, which makes you an easy target and gives knowledge that gen might. The second engagement was with Leon, who at first made no mistakes and had me chase him around the map in a wide circle and not around the other survivors. This chase was good for me, the killer, at first, too, because I was able to get a hit on Leon as he vaulted the rocks near the god tree on the map and past the gen we saw Nia on earlier. Leon then led us into the tractor, which the haze stacks on both sides. This map obstacle can be really good for survivors if used properly and are aware of the timing of when to be at each part and how to respond to the killer's movements on and around the tractor. When Leon got onto the haystack on the inside of the map, I went and tried to attack him from the ground. Some might call this a mistake on my half, but I have been able to hit survivors from doing that before, and I don't think it is a mistake, especially when they only need one more hit to down them. In this case, however, it did not work, because Leon either knew about the ability to hit survivors from the ground, or because was a newer player, if he acted properly and kept moving away from where I was hitting at the haystack. After a while, I backed away from the haystack, and Leon made the mistake of dropping down off the haystack too early, but managed to make it in time to pallet and pre-drop. I then saw Claudette and the gen she was working. I broke the pallet and hit the gen next to Claudette, and broke off engagement with Leon to follow into the cowshed Claudette to see if that gen had been worked on, which it was, and I kicked it. Third engagement, I backtracked from the cowshed back towards the tractor I had been engaged with Leon, where I found Claudette drop a pallet, then run behind the tractor. I broke the pallet, then pursued from the other side of the tractor where I saw Claudette and Leon. Leon made the mistake to go up the tractor in front of me, which I followed him and hit him once as he vaulted. He healed earlier. I followed him over the vault and downed him before he could get back up the tractor, then hooked him. Claudette is the one who made the mistake of leading me to Leon, as he probably was healing, which led to him losing. After hooking Leon, I made the mistake of zoning in on sound and visual info that was going on, and missed Claudette literally running right by me. When watching the footage of the recording later, I did see Claudette running across the screen. I did not notice at the time. Zoning in on sounds and visual location is important into the killer, but I need to learn to try and keep more an open attention to things, because that could have been easy. Leon got unhooked by Claudette. I wandered off, and Leon then made a mistake of playing with one of my drones, luring me back into the area again. As I was engaging Leon at the tractor again, I heard the killer instinct kick in nearby. As I quickly looked to find where it was coming from, I noticed Claudette run away from me, but it was not her, and I kept looking and pinpointed it to Steve, running by me around the tractor, which I pursued him since he had killer's instinct, and downed him as he went up the tractor since he was still exposed. For those who don't know, when you take down a drone, it gives the killer instinct and makes survivors exposed. I have not played the updated skull merchant yet, but I think this is still what it does. As I hook Steve, Leon makes the mistake of taking down a drone right near me, so I correct his mistake by downing him and putting up another drone before picking him up and hooking him. As I start looking around the area to make sure no one is around, I see Claudette hiding in the corn. So yes, corn makes it hard for killers to see through, but that is for distance, not when you're close, according to right now. So I got to hit Claudette, who makes the mistake of unhooking Leon right in front of me, which I downed Claudette, and then again Leon unhooks Claudette. So I quickly down Leon, turn to find Claudette down her, then watch them brawl for hand to hand at the tractor, and I picked Leon up, give him the death hook, and then Claudette hers at the next close hook, making what most people would say a dead zone if used properly. Unhooking in front of the killer is not very wise, and normally I would punish the unhooker by tunneling the unhooked. For this, and yes, I know how to count to 10, so no insurance for the poor soul will help them. This time I didn't. At this point, I knew those two weren't leaving this part of the map, and were in it most of the match. I then went and redeployed drones to hunt down Steve and Mia, which I found them healing Steve on the other end of the cowshed, which I then went and did a couple of chasings of both Steve and Mia. As I was chasing Mia, I behold to find Steve at our old favorite tractor on the inside of the map, Haystack. I believe he made the tactical mistake. He knew both near hooks were unusable by the deaths of Leon and Claudette, and waited for me to go up the tractor and vault before reacting, and I downed him. If he had used the other haystack, I wouldn't. The hunt for the elusive Nia began, and Steve died on hook, and I had found the hatch before Nia. I chose based on my information of the situation. If I closed the hatch, he would beat me at the gate game, and was probably waiting at 1, so I stood at the hatch and waited for the prey to come to me. I'm very patient, and the hatch part of the video is actually at 300% times normal speed. It took a while, but I did outwait. Some people may consider tunneling, camping, gen rushing, constant flashlight blindings, and that as toxic things. To me, they actually are not toxic, but just tactics that can be used to win your matches. And yes, they are very annoying and frustrating when you're on the receiving end of any of these tactics. And they're easy to perform once people realize what is being done. So. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and leave a comment. Please be civil. If not, it will be removed. If you have any advice on tactic strategies of this match, please let us know in the comments. I will read them, and if I believe it is good advice, I might read a few in the future videos. Please like if you enjoyed the videos and subscribe if you want to know more come in the future. There are also non-commentary versions of the videos if you want to just watch the match and listen to the music with no speaking over it. Now farewell, ladies and lords of the multi-realms. Till next time.